Nothing is going on, she said, squeezing my hand as we walked beneath the streetlights, while the report sitting unread in my inbox already detailed where she'd been sleeping. That sentence, "nothing is going on," would have saved me months earlier. But hearing it the night before the truth arrived felt like watching someone lock a door they didn't know was already open. The next morning, the email came in at 8:17 a.m. No subject line drama. Just a PDF. Time-stamped. Clinical. Precise. The kind of truth that doesn't raise its voice. But that walk the night before still plays on repeat. I'm 42. I work as a compliance auditor for a mid-sized firm in Denver. My job is to notice patterns people hope won't be noticed. Ironically, I missed the most important one in my own life. We'd been together 9 years. Living together for 7. Not married. We'd talked about it, then stopped talking about it, then pretended that silence was mutual agreement. That evening walk was her idea. "We've felt off," she said. "Let's just walk. No phones. Like we used to." She wore her jacket zipped all the way up, hands tucked into her sleeves. It was early fall. The air smelled like wet leaves and distant fireplaces. She stayed close to me, matching my pace, bumping my shoulder gently like reassurance in motion. I told her I'd been feeling shut out, that she felt far away even when she was sitting right next to me. She listened, nodded, looked up at me when I spoke. The good kind of eye contact. The kind that makes you feel foolish for doubting. She stopped near the park entrance and turned to face me fully. "I'm here," she said. "I choose you. I'm not going anywhere." That was the moment people imagine as safety. I remember thinking maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I've been too suspicious. I'd hired the detective 2 weeks earlier. Not because I wanted drama. Because I wanted peace. One way or another. I didn't tell her. I didn't threaten. I didn't set traps. I paid a man to observe quietly because I needed the truth to exist outside of my emotions. The report didn't describe romance. It described logistics. Dates. Times. Addresses. License plates. Photos taken from legal distances. Her car parked overnight. Her entering an apartment with a man I didn't recognize. Leaving the next morning wearing the same clothes. 3 times in 1 week. There was also a note at the end. Almost apologetic. Client appears unaware of subject's secondary phone. Secondary phone. That detail landed harder than the photos. Because it meant intention. When she came home that evening, I was sitting at the table with my laptop closed. She could always tell when something was wrong. She read rooms the way some people read books. "Hey," she said softly. "You okay?" I nodded. "Sit with me." She did. Relaxed. Comfortable. Still confident in the version of reality she'd been maintaining. I opened the laptop and turned it toward her. Didn't say a word. She scanned the screen. The color drained from her face slowly, like a tide pulling back. She didn't cry. Didn't yell. Didn't deny it. She leaned back in her chair and said, "So you hired someone?" That was her first concern. I waited. She exhaled through her nose. "That feels like a violation." I almost smiled at the symmetry. "Who is he?" I asked. She rubbed her temples. "It's not what you think." I slid the photos closer. She stared at them for a long moment. Then said very calmly, "I never planned to leave you." I asked her why she needed a second phone. Silence. Then, quieter than I expected. "Because I didn't want to hurt you." That was when something in me finally gave up. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult her. I asked one question. "Did you ever feel bad doing this?" She looked at me like I'd asked something irrelevant. "I compartmentalized," she said. "That's how I survive." I told her about the walk. About the reassurance. About how I'd almost canceled the detective because I wanted to believe her. She met my eyes then and said the line that ended everything. "You need to understand," she said. "Your feelings don't matter to me the way you think they should. Not cruel. Just factual." That night I didn't sleep. Not because I was crying. Because my body felt unfamiliar. Like I'd been living as a supporting character in my own life. The collapse wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. I forgot to eat. I stared at walls. I realized how often I'd adjusted myself to keep her calm. How many questions I'd swallowed. How many instincts I'd ignored. The turning point came a week later. She asked if we could reset. Start fresh. She suggested couples therapy. Boundaries. Transparency. I listened. Truly. Then I said something I'd never said before. No. The word felt heavy. Solid. I don't want to rebuild something that required surveillance to survive, I said. And I don't want to become someone who has to monitor the person they love. She cried then. Real tears. Fear tears. But I didn't move. I moved out 2 weeks later. Not far. A small place near my office. Sparse. Quiet. Mine. There was no revenge. No exposure. No public humiliation. I didn't need her to suffer. I needed myself back. Healing didn't arrive as confidence. It arrived as boundaries. As the ability to sit alone without feeling abandoned. As recognizing that reassurance means nothing when it contradicts behavior. Here's the lesson I learned too late but hope you hear in time. If someone can lie to you calmly while holding your hand, the problem isn't trust. It's access. Love shouldn't require investigation. And peace shouldn't come at the cost of your dignity. Choose the truth. Even when it walks beside you quietly and lies to your face.